Cold. Dark. Empty. If you ask me which I was describing, my prison cell or my heart, I'm not sure how I would answer. Both, I guess. Stone floors, steel bars, no bed, barely a toilet to shit in. No light, no love, no friends, no hope. Depressing, but could be worse, I guess. Could be torture at the hands of our most brutal sons and daughters. Could be food for the next creature we discover. I want to test its ferocity. I handed down those sentences, hundreds of them, before I was on this side of the aisle. Yeah, could be worse. But this is the sentence I received. The sentence for saving my people. More than once, I might add. I know what happens next. Such is the conclusion of a life that saw me lead legions of humanity into the void. They called me the Mad Maestro once, a conductor of beautiful death. My very image was hung from skyscrapers. Recruiters used my name and image to inspire patriotism and loyalty. Now, I'm just prisoner 1-0909117. Humanity's war with the Yevok started decades before I was born. I'm sure it's not an anomaly on the galactic scale. Two bullish reactive races simply found the same habitable planet in their infinite expansion, and decided it was worth fighting over. Chaos ensued. Though I've been in captivity for the better part of 3 months, I know this war is ending. It was part of the deal, part of the betrayal that led me here, into the cold and darkness. Almost 70 years of war has clearly weighed on both humanity and Yevok. How could hundreds of millions of deaths not? The fight is over. My capture and impending execution will mark peace for the first moment in my lifetime. Oh, but what a fight it was. What a part I played in it. I led boarding parties across ships of fire and energy, and eventually, once I was done, dust. I ordered bombardments to break shield chains, ground assaults that saw my men and women torn apart like paper in water, handled by a temperamental child. I broke the fabled fleet of Yinch, commanded by Shlin Yakun, their most famous son and competent astral tactician, over the moons of Jupiter. That engagement lasted 4 consecutive days, and I have never seen so many broken bodies, so many unrecognizable sons and daughters, mothers and fathers, brothers and sisters. I rallied my people at the ambush of Alpha Centauri, in which 30 million humans died horrible, horrible deaths. I will not speak of what I saw that day, but the Yevok nearly wiped out our entire colony around humanity's second star. Not on my watch. Not that day. Their brutality was returned in kind. Such was humanity's anger that I dedicated my next, and would-be final campaign, to those who were murdered by surgically nailing 10,000 Yevok bodies to the hulls of my greatest ships of war. I spat in the Yevok's eyes as I rained hell upon the invaders. Took their dead bodies as trophies and broadcasted my disrespect to the Yevok's home system. They've wanted me dead ever since. Especially so after I led humanity's final thrust into deep Yevok territory before the ceasefire. I smashed the fleet of Yel-Lok, led by their crowned prince, and cut off his head. I sent that fucking head to his father. Fucking prick. The Yevok sent assassins, fleets, and atomics after me. They stranded me and my personal legions on Titan, and rained fire upon us in our subterranean bunkers for 13 straight days and nights. I survived. I advanced. I never yielded. I brought fear and doubt into the hearts and minds, or wherever that logic and emotion comes from in those bodies of theirs, of my enemy, just as I was instructed to do. Just as I was raised to do. I asked for little and received less. But this I did not expect. Deals were made. My legend was debated. My unity in our shared future was denied. The fear my very name caused my enemy was the only piece of data they never talked about, or so I hear. In war, I was a necessity. In peace, expendable. I won't sit here and act like I'm not wounded. I am. I became a soldier at 16, a frigate captain by 24, but for my 30th birthday I was responsible for 4 human victories that helped turn the tide of certain defeat into a victory. I am the youngest fleet commander in our people's history. Until I was stripped of my titles, our youngest admiral, all before the age of 40. A life given to soldiering on and on and on. Left foot, right foot. Railgun rounds, genocide, certain death avoided. Parleys, jaws, screams of the wounded and dying. The breathless void I've sent so many into. I've seen and done it all. I have dedicated my life to my people, and this is what I get. I wasn't always the bad maestro, you see. For so long I was just Michael. The Yevok changed that more than once. They broke me more than once. My superiors implored me to use that pain, that forever darkness in my heart, to help my people. So I did. And now I wait with a knife in my back, ready for the inevitable. At some point it's a relief. At another, it's unacceptable. There's a metallic click as the massive steel door into my cell starts to slide open. I shift my head just enough to look at it. Can't move the rest of my body anyway, as I'm firmly chained to the ground. They respect that my legend was made on the ground as much as it was made in space. I don't need a warship to kill. My people know that. 2 men and 2 women, clad in the clean dark grey robes of senatorial duty, enter. And then comes a 5th body, the tallest and leanest of the bunch, who carefully shuts the door behind him. He's dressed in dark blue, one of the 13. As he turns, he offers me a small smile of regret. He wishes it were any other way, he'll tell me. He's a fucking liar. He's always been a fucking liar. I should pick better best friends. The 4 senators of Earth stop around my tired body, my legs sprawled out on the floor. They all look down on me with different levels of contempt. Their minds are already past this, to other pressing matters that will surely make them richer, more famous or more powerful. The only one who gives me the respect I deserve is the one in blue, the one different from the rest, the one that speaks for my home country. President Peter Willington, one of the 13 presidents of the most powerful nations on our planet, who form our High Council. My old friend, Peter finally says with a sigh, I'm sorry it's come to this. The worst thing is that he means it. He's made his decision, and his conviction is one of his best traits. But the way he's looking at me makes me think he doesn't like this. That's what he wants me to think, though. 1 life in exchange for the safety of billions, I wheeze. My voice sounds foreign to me. Simple math. That doesn't make it right. I glare up at him. And when have you ever been concerned with what's right? I snarl. One of the senators takes offense. I met this asshole before. He thinks that since he was born and raised in New York, that it makes him better than everyone else. You will not speak to President Willington this way. Senator Marshall Downs draws. When he looks at me, he sees the orphan from Indiana, not the great weapon of war I became. Apologize, prisoner. Prisoner. Peter turns to Senator Downs. Prisoner he might be, but that is not all he is. Respect his efforts for the good of our people. Peter raises an eyebrow. Hold your tongue. Senator Downs scoffs. Excuse me, I am a senator of Earth representing the United States of America. I was appointed to your position by your father. My old friend looks down at me sadly. Do not think that your presence was needed. Nepotism is disgusting. Say another word and I will have you removed. Senator Downs opens his mouth again, but chooses more wisely this time and shuts it again. He won't forget the slight, but there isn't shit he can do about it. Peter crouches down so he's eye level with me. If he notices how badly I smell, he hides it. You know I pledged your case before the council. I offered exile, house arrest, anything. He takes a breath. Anything but this. Did he actually do those things for me? I'll never know. Peter has been my friend since I was 12, but he's always been a schemer. I saw it early, but I was alone and needed someone. Anyone. For all his faults, and fuck me, there are many, he has been there for me many times over the years, and his support helped shape my career. You could also argue his support of me, and my ascent to a brutally effective commanding officer, helped earn him those goddamn robes. The Yevok wouldn't agree to peace until I was dead, I say. I lean my head back on the wall. The bodies, Michael, Peter says quietly. The ultimate form of disrespect for their people. You turned their greatest warriors into trophies, and paraded them around like ornaments on a damn Christmas tree. They would never forgive you for it. I know. That's why I did it. Peter's eyes look at the ground. I know how much you hate the Yevok. I never got to meet your family before they were killed, but I wish I had. But the Yevok wouldn't take anything in the peace talks except my life. Yeah, I know. I know because they told me. Everyone told me. I tilt my head so Peter can see my eyes. I knew what they wanted. I just didn't think you'd give it to them. Senator Downs scoffs again. You are an effective officer, Michael. Nothing more. Don't ever sell your importance. In a quick motion, Peter uncoils his legs and turns on Senator Downs, throwing a thundering slap onto his face. Downs goes down. He quickly scrambles back to his feet, clutching his soft cheek. Bitch. I told you I could remove you, Peter says, infuriated. Now leave. Senator Downs looks for support at the others around him, but finds nothing. He storms out without a word, and my friend turns back to me. Tomorrow we will announce the peace with the Yevok, Peter says, once more looking into my eyes. Your death will be quick, painless, and tomorrow morning. You will fall asleep tonight and you will not wake up. It will not be televised or noted in any major news publication. The only people that will be aware of your death are those in this room and Yevok leadership who will watch your execution. I bark a laugh. Figures. You're scared of my men rebelling if you publicize my death, I say. Yes. How could we not be? He crashes again. They love you, Michael. They would die for you. We cannot have that. Not now, not after all this. Again, I am sorry this is how it has to be. You made it that way. Peter shuts his mouth and is silent for a moment. Tonight, I offer you the only thing I can. Comfort, he says. He nods to my hands and legs. Those will be removed. I have my staff on hand to bring you whatever you need. He puts a hand on my leg. I hope you know, despite this, that I will always love my friend. The shrieking of an alarm comes from the wrists of each senator and Peter. They all look down at the smart screen they carry. Their eyes go wide. Suddenly there's a pounding at the door and it swings open. I hear gunfire, screams, pleading. Smoke and fire reaches my nostrils. Senator Downs comes flying into the room. His shoulder is limp and he's terrified. They've come! They've found him! Senator Downs' wide eyes find mine. We must... A bullet tears through his forehead, and before his body hits the floor, it screams into the chest of another senator, who collapses too. Just outside the door, I hear bodies falling. Security guards try to back into my cell, but are turned into dark red mist, spraying the rest of the senators still alive. Peter is pulling his sidearm, aiming it at the door. He glances at me. What did you do? He asks, the steely calm of a former soldier coming over him. I crack my neck. I didn't do shit, I say. You've had me for months. That doesn't mean... A half-dozen killers, black-clad and reeking of death, come storming into the cell, guns raised. Peter fires once, taking down the first. The killers respond, firing away and, carefully, I might add, wound my old friend by putting bullets into his shins and shoulder. Non-lethal. Textbook. Peter hits the ground. Stay down, sir, one of the killers shouts at Peter. Fuck me, I know that voice. It couldn't be. I saw him die. Please stay down. We don't mean to kill you. Peter recognizes the voice too, and despite grimacing in pain, does as he's told. He thinks about going for the kill but chooses wisely, throwing his sidearm away. The other senators, those two alive that is, cower in fear in the corner. None of them have ever held a weapon before. The one whose voice I recognize steps forward and crouches in front of me. His body armor is thick, but he was already a thick man. And there isn't a person alive I trust more. But he's not alive, is he? I saw... The man removes his mask to reveal the scarred, dangerous, angry face of a man who has saved my life twice, served under me for 15 years and became the best friend I actually deserved, after Peter's professional responsibility created a gulf between us. I stare at the man who's leading those saving me. Diego, I whisper. It can't be. Titan, I watched... He offers me a solemn nod. I know, sir. I'm sorry. He means that as he blinks. I should be dead, truth be told. Died twice in surgery, but they brought me back. For what, I wasn't sure. He nods again. Until they told me you had been taken. I'm sorry I couldn't tell you I was alive. I wanted to contact you, but they... Who's they? Who saved you? Diego glares down at Peter before turning back to me. You aren't out of friends just yet, sir. Your people need you. My people need peace, I say. They won't have it. It's a lie. The Yevok don't want peace. They never did. They're gearing up for an attack. Peter groans on the ground. No, they are not. I would know if they were. You were deceived, sir. To kill your best friend and remove an obstacle for the Yevok. You were used. I'm sorry, Diego says without an ounce of sympathy. He blinks at me. We have to get you to safety, sir. And how would you know this, soldier? You are not one of the 13. You do not have this information, Peter says. I am not. No. Diego offers me a hand. I take it and stand slowly as another killer steps forward and carefully melts the manacles holding me down. We have a benefactor, one who saw through the Yevok's lies and readies our people for war once more. Peter thinks for a moment. He rolls his eyes. She's always loved you, I guess, he says. There's no malice in his voice, but he's annoyed. If what you say is true, then you need me. Let me go. We will do this together. He starts to stand. Diego quickly points his rifle at Peter. We don't need you, Mr. President. Diego grins that wicked grin at me. We need our maestro. He nods. Again. We need to get you to safety, sir. No, fuck that. If the Yevok are coming, I don't need safety. Sir. I stand there, woozy from the isolation and so much time chained up. I shake my head, set my shoulders and crack my knuckles. Bring me to my ship.